The bunker was silent except for the hum of old ventilation systems. Outside, the world had gone silent too, or at least it seemed that way to Aaron. He pressed his back against the cold metal wall and tried to control his breathing. Days had passed since the cataclysmic war had begun on Earth, and every hour felt heavier than the last. The food supplies he had brought were gone. Water was rationed down to drops, and hope was becoming a distant memory. Aaron shivered. The temperature in the bunker was dropping, and he realized that without nourishment, he would not survive another week. His stomach growled, echoing painfully in the metal corridors. He knew he needed something more, something that could give him strength. But there was nothing left. Then he heard a soft rustle from the corner of the bunker. At first he thought it was a rat or one of the automated systems failing, but no. This was something else. Something alive. A small figure emerged from the shadows. Her ears twitched, long and pointed, covered with golden fur that shimmered even in the dim light. Her eyes were large and bright, almost too bright to be natural. A fluffy tail swished behind her as she approached cautiously. Aaron froze. He had seen alien creatures in the simulations during his training, but nothing like this. She was humanoid, but clearly not human. An alien fox girl. Aaron swallowed hard, unsure whether she was friend or foe. The girl tilted her head, observing him. There was no aggression in her posture, only curiosity. You're alive, she said in a soft musical voice that somehow carried over the echo of the bunker. Yes, Aaron replied cautiously. And you? I am Kira, she said, her words careful but clear. I live here, alone. Aaron's eyes widened. Alone? How long? Months, Kira said, her ears flicking nervously. Since the sky burned. Since the humans left, Aaron felt a pang of sorrow. He had assumed all life outside the bunker had ended. And yet here was Kira, alive and remarkably thriving. He noticed her slight frame, agile and strong, yet clearly adapted to scarcity. Something about her presence radiated calm, almost like a guardian rather than a threat. The days passed slowly after that first meeting. Aaron learned that Kira's species had a unique ability. Her body produced a nutrient-rich fluid that could sustain life in the harshest conditions. Humans would call it milk, though its texture and properties were unlike anything Aaron had tasted before. It smelled faintly of minerals and sweetness, and it was warm when Kira offered it to him. The first sip saved him. Aaron's strength returned gradually. His body, once weak from hunger, began to respond. He could move without staggering, think without the fog of starvation clouding his mind. Kira watched him carefully, making sure he did not overconsume. In return, Aaron helped maintain the bunker, repairing old machinery and reinforcing walls that had begun to crumble under neglect. They communicated slowly at first. Kira's language was melodic, filled with clicks and hums that Aaron struggled to mimic. But over time he began to understand her, picking up simple words and gestures. He taught her some human phrases, and together they laughed at their mistakes. The bunker, once a place of despair, began to feel alive with small moments of companionship. Aaron could not help but marvel at Kira's intelligence and resilience. Unlike humans, she did not panic when resources ran low. She adapted. She innovated. She knew the hidden systems in the bunker that humans had overlooked: ventilation cycles, power grids, emergency reserves, and she used them to their advantage. In her presence, Aaron felt hope stirring, something he had not felt in months, yet danger loomed outside. The war had left the planet unstable. The skies were streaked with radioactive ash, and automated drones, remnants of military conflicts, still patrolled abandoned cities. Any attempt to leave the bunker without preparation would have been fatal. Aaron understood that survival meant patience, careful planning, and trust in Kira's guidance. One evening, as the red glow of distant fires flickered through the bunker vents, Kira approached Aaron with a small device in her hands. It was a scanner, ancient yet functional. This, she said, tells us if the air is safe outside. If life is there, if humans remain. Aaron's heart leapt. The possibility of seeing other humans again, of returning to a world where humanity had not entirely vanished, felt intoxicating. Do you think anyone else survived? He asked, his voice almost trembling. I do not know, Kira admitted, but we will find out. Together. Their days settled into a routine. Aaron repaired machinery, gathered samples from the minimal plant growth within the bunker, and learned to read Kira's methods of survival. She showed him how to collect condensation efficiently, how to filter contaminated water, how to ration supplies to last longer than expected. Every day he drank her nutrient-rich milk, gaining energy, rebuilding his body and spirit. One day, while Aaron was repairing a malfunctioning generator, a loud bang echoed through the bunker. Dust fell from the ceiling and small sparks flew from the walls. Kira's ears twitched and she moved instantly, checking the source. "It's not dangerous," she said quickly, but her alert stance betrayed her worry. "Old system's failing. I will fix it." Aaron joined her, working together with precision. By combining their knowledge, his human engineering skills and her alien instincts, they stabilized the generator. The teamwork felt exhilarating. Aaron realized how much stronger humans could be when they learned to work with other species, when they did not fight but collaborated. As nights passed, Aaron started noticing other small things about Kira. Her emotions were complex, her expressions nuanced. She could feel empathy deeply, a trait he admired, and yet she remained cautious, aware of dangers that he could not even imagine. Together they formed an unspoken bond, human determination guided by alien instinct. It was during one of these quiet nights that Kira spoke about her species' abilities. "Our bodies adapt," she explained, "to whatever environment we are in. We survive harsh climates. Our milk, it carries what others need when life is scarce. You are strong because you accept help." "That is rare," Aaron nodded, humbled. He realized that his survival was not just luck, it was a collaboration. Humans had ingenuity, yes, but without Kira he would have starved. Without trust, without cooperation, he would have perished. Weeks turned into months. The bunker, once a tomb, became a haven. Aaron and Kira explored every corner, cataloging supplies, marking maps, and preparing for the day when they could leave safely. Aaron learned to communicate fully in her language, though imperfectly, and she learned enough human words to understand his thoughts and emotions clearly. One morning, a distant rumble shook the bunker. Dust and debris fell, and Aaron grabbed a support beam to steady himself. Kira's ears twitched sharply. "The world is changing," she said. "It will not be safe outside for some time. But we can prepare." Aaron looked at her and smiled. "We've survived worse, haven't we?" "Yes," Kira agreed, her eyes glinting with determination. Together. In the safety of the bunker, the days passed in a rhythm of survival, learning, and companionship. Aaron drank Kira's milk every day, gaining strength, and in return, he contributed what he could to their mutual survival. Slowly, he realized that survival was more than just staying alive. It was about connection, about understanding, about growing stronger through unity. The bunker was no longer a place of fear. It was a laboratory of human resilience. And though the outside world was dangerous and unpredictable, Aaron knew one thing with certainty. As long as he and Kira survived together, hope would endure. The first part of their story was one of adaptation and trust. The human had survived on alien milk, but more importantly, he had learned the value of cooperation with a species beyond his own. They were stronger together than apart, and in a universe filled with uncertainty, that bond might be the most powerful weapon of all. Aaron lay down that night, exhaustion tugging at his body, yet peace in his mind. He closed his eyes, thinking of the day when they might finally see the sky, unshielded, and step outside into a world that had once seemed lost. For now he rested, grateful for life, grateful for Kira, and grateful for the lesson that survival was never meant to be faced alone. The world outside the bunker was not as quiet as Aaron had hoped. When he and Kira finally decided it was safe enough to venture beyond the heavy metal doors, the wind carried the scent of ash and distant fires. The skies, once blue, were now painted in shades of red and gray. Yet, despite the destruction, Aaron felt a thrill he had not experienced in months. He was stepping into a living world again. Kira led the way, her agile movements carrying her over broken rubble and scorched soil. Aaron followed carefully, holding his breath each time the ground trembled under the weight of some distant disturbance. The outside was dangerous, yes, but it was also full of possibility. A place where survival would be tested, but where life could also be reclaimed. "The sensors show pockets of life nearby," Kira said, glancing at a small handheld device. "Small plants. Perhaps other survivors." Aaron's heart raced. The idea of seeing another human, of knowing he was not the last, filled him with renewed hope. "Do you think anyone else is alive?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. We will see, Kira replied, her ears twitching at a distant sound. But we must move carefully. Danger is everywhere. The first obstacle came quickly. A collapsed bridge blocked their path over a dried riverbed. Kira scanned the area with sharp eyes, then gestured for Aaron to follow her along a safer, narrower path. Her instinct was precise, and Aaron marveled at her adaptability. She could read the environment in ways humans could not, predicting unstable ground, weak supports, or hidden traps. As they progressed, Aaron thought about the bunker, the long nights of hunger, and the way Kira's milk had kept him alive. It was more than nourishment. It was a symbol of trust. She had shared her life force with him so he could continue, and in return he had learned to be resourceful, to repair, to survive. Their bond was now unbreakable, forged in shared adversity and mutual respect. They reached a small grove, one of the pockets Kira had mentioned. Surprisingly, a few green shoots pushed through the ash-covered soil. The sight was almost magical. Aaron knelt down, touching the fragile leaves. It grows, he whispered. Life still grows. Yes, Kira said softly. Even after the fire, even after the war, the world remembers how to live. Suddenly, a movement caught their attention. Small figures emerged from the shadows, humans. A small group, ragged and cautious, their faces marked with fear and relief at seeing Aaron. You're alive, one of them shouted, running forward. We thought no one survived. Aaron felt a rush of emotion. Tears pricked his eyes as he embraced them, realizing he was not alone in this world. Kira stepped back slightly, observing the reunion with curiosity, then slowly approached. The humans were wary of her at first, but when she offered them a sample of her nutrient-rich milk, their fear turned to gratitude. It was not just survival, it was compassion, a bridge between species that allowed humanity to endure. Over the following days, Aaron and Kira helped the small group establish a temporary shelter. Kira's knowledge of the land, combined with Aaron's human engineering skills, allowed them to create a space that was secure, sustainable, and surprisingly comfortable considering the circumstances. They collected water, grew small amounts of food using the ash-resistant plants, and fortified their shelter against the harsh weather. Aaron could see the difference in the humans' spirits. Where once they had been frightened and hopeless, they now worked with purpose, inspired by the human-alien partnership that had saved one of their own. Kira became a teacher as well as a healer, showing them how to survive using methods they had never imagined. How to purify water, how to identify safe plants, and how to prepare for the long, unpredictable nights. One evening, as the group settled by a small fire, Aaron spoke to Kira quietly. You've done more than save me. You've shown them, us, that life can continue, that humans can survive even with help. Kira looked at him, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames. Humans are clever, she said. You build, you adapt, you learn. You are strong because you do not give up. I only guide, Aaron smiled. Then we guide each other. As the weeks went by, the survivors explored more of the surrounding area. They scavenged for supplies, repaired abandoned vehicles, and mapped safe zones. Each day brought new challenges: crumbling roads, aggressive wildlife mutated by radiation, and remnants of automated drones still patrolling the outskirts. But with Kira's instincts and the humans' ingenuity, they overcame each obstacle. Aaron noticed how humans had always relied on cooperation in extreme situations. Here, however, the cooperation extended beyond species boundaries. Kira's alien knowledge, combined with human determination, created solutions that neither could have achieved alone. The small community began to thrive, and the HFY spirit, the recognition of human potential in adversity, shone brightly. One day, a drone attack forced them to flee into a nearby cave system. Aaron and Kira led the group through narrow passages using tunnels to avoid detection. The humans followed without question, trusting their guidance. Inside the cave, they found a natural spring. The water was clean and abundant. The group cheered, and Aaron realized that survival was no longer about mere endurance, it was about reclaiming life. That water, he said, kneeling to taste it, it's a gift. We can build again? Yes, Kira agreed, but we must not forget the lessons we learned in the bunker. Survival requires vigilance, care, and cooperation. Without them, life can slip away again. Aaron spent that night reflecting on their journey. He thought about how fragile life could be, yet how resilient humans were. With the help of Kira, they had turned despair into hope, weakness into strength, Humanity's ability to endure, to innovate, to learn, had been amplified by working with an alien species. That realization filled him with pride. Days turned into weeks, and the group's shelter grew into a small settlement. Aaron helped design water systems, Kira taught survival strategies, and the humans contributed their own knowledge. Slowly, the world outside the bunker was reclaimed, not entirely restored, but alive again. Trees grew in small groves. Animals returned cautiously, and the air, though still tinged with ash, was breathable. Aaron realized that their success was not just survival, it was a testament to human potential. With the right guidance, with determination and courage, humans could endure anything. Even the harshest, most alien environments could be conquered with intellect, adaptability, and collaboration. Kira watched him one morning as he inspected the solar panels they had installed. "You are different from the humans I have seen before the fire," she said. "You learn quickly. You fight not for glory, but for life." Aaron laughed softly. "It's easy when someone guides you. When someone cares." Kira's ears twitched, a small smile appearing on her face. "Then we guide each other." Their settlement began attracting more survivors. Humans who had managed to avoid the destruction slowly came out of hiding. Each arrival strengthened the community. Aaron realized that the HFY spirit was contagious. Humans inspired each other, and the presence of Kira reminded them that cooperation could extend beyond their own species. One afternoon, while surveying the outer perimeter, Aaron noticed a plume of smoke in the distance. Kira's ears twitched sharply. "Another group?" he asked. "Yes," she said, "and they need help." "Will you go?" Aaron nodded. "Together, we go." They approached cautiously, but the group they found was weak and starving. Aaron offered them water and food, while Kira provided her nutrient-rich milk. The newcomers were hesitant at first, but within hours they accepted the help. Aaron realized that survival was not a solitary act. It was a network of trust, generosity, and courage. Each human saved inspired others to save in return. As the sun set that evening, Aaron looked at the horizon. Fires still burned in some distant regions, but the immediate area around their settlement thrived. Children ran between shelters, playing and laughing. Adults worked together, repairing, building, and planning. Life, fragile yet stubborn, had returned. Aaron felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Humanity had survived not alone, but with guidance, cooperation, and trust. Kira's milk had saved him once, yes, but the true survival came from shared effort, innovation, and the human spirit that refused to give up. He realized that even in a universe that could be harsh and indifferent, humans had the ability to shine, to endure, adapt, and flourish. That night, as Aaron and Kira watched the stars through the clearing sky, he whispered, "We did it, didn't we?" Kira's eyes reflected the light of distant suns. "Yes," she said softly. "Humans endure. You always have. You always will." Aaron smiled, knowing she was right. They had faced despair, hunger, and isolation. They had survived the bunker, braved the dangerous outside world, and brought hope back to others. The story of survival was not just his story or hers, it was the story of humanity. Resilient, clever, and unyielding, humans would always find a way to survive and thrive, no matter how alien or hostile the universe might be. And for Aaron, for Kira, and for the small community they had nurtured, that survival was just the beginning. Together, they would build a future where humans could not only endure but flourish.